Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Tech Show. Today's video we're going to be checking out mini knives, and this one is the bug out mini, and specifically which bug out or which mini knife should you get for yourself. There's so many minis out there right now. What's the popularity and why people keep getting the minis? Pretty much regal size, lightweight, small, fits in your pocket, jeans, and can do things that most knives cannot, and specifically because they're small in size. There's a lot of minis out there. Those are not the only ones. And interestingly enough, I have this mini. Those are all benchmade, by the way. Really great company that makes amazing knives, and this is the mini validation right here. This one has a safety lock on it right in the back, so you don't accidentally spring this open in your pocket. I don't know if I consider this a mini. It's called a mini validation. Definitely not a mini. Not in my opinion. This is no mini. What do you guys think? Is this really a mini? I don't think this is an actual mini here. But for intents and purposes, it's called a mini, so it kind of belongs here. Now, talking about minis here, you also have cheap minis, cheap knives, really cheap knives here, such as this one right here, mini Garbo, mini Swat & Watson for safety knot right here. This one is also has this. I don't like the ones that spring open like this, but what can you do? And this one is super cheap. Here we have the Garbo. So out of all of those, which one should you get? Lots of minis here, lots of picks here, and different prices too. Those are on the expensive side, those are on the cheaper side, the really cheap side here. Why do you need so many knives? You really don't. You really don't need that many, and a lot of times I end up just posting them back on sale on eBay when I get them. But I like variety. It is the spice of life, and when it comes to knives, nothing more fun than destroying boxes with different kind of knives and seeing the capabilities of those. Out of all of those, I think this one is one of the most stylish and the coolest knife I ever seen, and this is the Mini Osborne. The actual 940 is great, really great knife, but it was too big for me. This one also has a very good, beautiful handle to this, and you can open it with both hands. It is an exceptional, beautiful knife. Stylish. I like the texture and everything. I think out of all of those, it's one of the everyday carry. If I would have something for everyday carry, bug out, intensive purposes like this, this would be probably it. The more I use it, the more I like it. Talking about bug out, this is an actual bug out knife right here. Unlike the other cheap knives and blades we have here, the actual bug out is a cheap knife, unfortunately. Unfortunately to say it, the prices are almost the same of both of those knives, and yet this feels so much substantial, and the price is almost the same, like 20 to 30 bucks difference. And you might say, hey, there's a big difference. You know what, the big difference in quality, you can feel the difference, and this whole plastic thing is just not sitting well with me. It just doesn't feel good. In terms of wall profile, this is actually probably the better knife here. Small, low profile, handy. I like it. Versus this one right here, a little bit on the heavier side. But talking about heavy, this is not even heavy. It's like 4 ounces versus like 2. Like very small difference. But if you want something higher profile, better knife, amazing construction, this is really amazing, and the highest quality, and I love the surrogate edge. In fact, this thing This is a $200 knife. It is a $200 knife right here. We're probably the more expensive one out of all of those. But the thing is, this is not something I bought for $200. I got this on sale for a very good, decent price. And this one, although I like it, you gotta be careful with this snap blade. So snap blades, it snaps like that, and it's kind of scary. You have to just be careful when you snap it out. Your hand is not accidentally when it snaps out. Yes, it can maybe potentially cut you. Fortunately, the blade is on the other side, so it's very unlikely for this to happen, but yet when you snap it every single time, you're just, oh, I could have cut myself. It just feels like that, but it doesn't. It's not likely to do it because it opens the other way around. But the blade is a beautiful blade. Love it. Love this thing, solid edge and everything. This is like, you can put a lot more pressure over here too. And the opening, the whole locking thing is great here too. Now it has the safety on the back, so it doesn't accidentally open your pocket. And above all, ooh, this is so cool right here. You can see this. It's been this knife is just a work of art. And right here, you can see right out, it's deep carry, deep pocket, and this right here, glass breaker. So in case of an emergency, I'm just saying, if you have a knife that you want to use for hard purposes, for survival, say you're in the woods, you're stuck there for a very long time, this would be it. I would probably trust my wife with something like this. But if I need something for everyday carry, home use, for stuff like that, I definitely would never take something like this. It's just, this is made for die-hard use. It's not made for everyday casual carry, things like that. And yes, it has this glass breaker too here. It's actually a survivalist knife. I really wish it had a different name to it. But this one right here, and there's more extensive review of every one of those knives that's going to be actually created on this channel. The Mini Osborne is probably my knife to go. It is the coolest and the smallest and the most awesomest knife I have here. And no, it doesn't snap. I'm trying to move it up. Nope, nope, nope. This thing is like spring loaded too. See, this one thing you might hate or like about this knife. It just doesn't, you can do this and it's not gonna snap open. Nope, you gotta use the force right here, just like that, to open it up. But yeah, this is cool. The material is good, really good quality right here too. And it feels good. It has the frigid factor, and this sound it makes. I mean, if you're a knife person, you know what I'm talking about. This knife is awesome. On the other hand, this thing, the only good thing that this has, it's like if you have nothing to do, you can rub your hands like that. Pretty much it. This is the only cool thing about this surface right here. And it has a lanyard to this. Now, talking about knives in general, this is much better than all those Fruit Loops knives right here. Fruit Loop boxes. This is where you get them from. You get them from cereal boxes. Something like this. I'm talking about the cheap stuff you get inside of a cereal box. I'm not saying any of the cereal box will have a knife in them, because that's very unlikely. Actually, it never happened. But we have different kind of knives here that I want to talk about. In terms of minis, I want to do a comparison of all the minis just to talk about them. So we have the Garbo here. Actually, this is one of my favorites, all-time knife. I actually used this for the longest time before I used any of the other ones I have here, and I still use it. For what it is, for small purposes, it is the small knife. It doesn't have a pocket clip, unfortunately. Probably the only bad thing about it. The blade is pretty decent. It's like super plastic. There's nothing good about this, but it doesn't break. That's one thing. You can apply a lot of pressure to this. I've never seen it break. I don't really trust this mechanism. It is extremely cheap knife, and the only thing that's good about this, although it is cheap knife, it is a good quality, small, cheap knife. And they still make those. So you can still get one of those garble sticks. And even if you get the fake copy from China, which is almost identical to the original one, it's still good. Almost the same quality. They're still bad in terms of sharpness of this thing is just horrible. Once you keep using this, the sharpness goes away and it's almost impossible to sharpen this thing up. That's the only really bad thing about this. And over time, this thing right here fades away too. And it fades without even much use. Look what happened. It's the same exact thing right here. See, this thing just faded away. And I don't even know which one is the real deal, which one is the fake copy here. I don't even show if this is the fake copy. I did have one fake one. I think it was fake. Can't tell. Look like almost the same exact thing. And I like the real deals. If you can get the real deal, and I always get them on Amazon. Once in a while you will get a fake copy on Amazon, but I tell you, 95% of the time it's original on Amazon. You won't have a problem with it, and if you do, they will give you a refund, that's for sure. Now, that's the problem with the garbles. Smith & Wesson, you will never find a fake copy of that knife, because it is just such a cheap knife that nobody cares to even make a fake copy out of it. The Smith & Wesson knife for survivalists, you have right here double side. Right there is the sharp place, and right here is the surrogate edge and the straight edge right here, pretty much. You can open it with both hands. I don't trust the locking mechanism. This is probably the worst locking mechanism there is, and I will tell you this. This is why I don't use this as everyday carry. Pretty much because a failure can easily happen, and I'll show you what it is right here. So as you snap it open, right there, snap it open. This, the safety feature, sometimes will not go all the way in, and you have to always check it. If it doesn't go all the way in, this knife can accidentally, when you use it on the pressure, snap back in, just like that, although the safety was still engaged. And that makes it a really dangerous knife. And that's why the Smith & Wesson, they make very good firearms, but they make terrible knives. And I wouldn't trust my wife on it. Another cool knife is the garble. A small garble right here. I actually use this to open packages. It is cheap, it is small, it is a piece of garbage, but if somebody steals it, I don't care, because this thing cost me. The black one is actually more expensive, and it goes for around 16. Silver one is even cheaper because nobody likes it. And it goes around for like $7 on Amazon. Real good deal. And I wouldn't trust my wife with that one either. It has the bad safety. It's only for like opening mail, stuff like that. Don't ever use this for heavy use. Those things is gonna get you a trip to emergency room. This is why when you're getting knives, don't get garbage like that. Get quality. And even though this is not the best kind of knife, it's like plastic right here. The opening, the safety here is questionable. It's still good. It's still so much better than those knives. But if you want something better safety, you want to go for something like this. Oh yes, and we are really not done yet. So you thought this video was over, not yet. Anyways, biggest question, of course, is the weight and of course the measurement. So the weight here, this one goes for about 5 ounces, this mini validation knife. And when it comes to its size wise, check it out. Mini validation is about 7.5 inches. The knife blade is about 3 inches, which is, oh, this is almost illegal for streetwise use. Close. Still legal. Legal carry size. Not sure if the snapback is legal in your state, but you have to check it out. So this one is good. It's kind of small, but out of all of those, it's the heaviest one, and I would never call this mini. 4¼ of an inch here. It's pretty long. Next one we have here is the bug out, which jumped right off this thing. Bug out itself is about 2 ounces, and this one is about 6.5 inches. The actual blade is 2 3/4 of an inch here, which is why people really prefer this knife for all intents and purposes. This one right here, and definitely I'm not opening it before I put this on the scale, is the mini Osborne, which is going for 3 ounces. The bug out is 2, and 1 ounce of quality is in this one, which is 1 ounce of less quality in the bug out. So pretty much 2 ounces of quality blade material here, and plus this handle, altogether 3 ounces in total. And this one right here is about the same size, which is 6 3/4 of an inch. It's actually a bit longer. And this one is about 2 3/4 of an inch. It's about the same exact size right here. It has a really good balance. I love the balance of this thing. Great balance on your hand. The other hand this is also great. Not bad. They're all made pretty balanced. Those are not cheap knives, so they're pretty good balance for them. Talking about balances, let's check this one out. And you don't have to snap this one open. It's also good balance right here. You don't have to snap it at all. See, you can open and close it without snapping. If you're putting it like this, the spring will snap it open. But if you want, you can just open it like this, and you don't have to snap it at all. So for the people who don't like it, you don't have to snap it that way. Talking about snapping here, the one I hate the most is this thing right here. This thing snaps. This one has the safety lock too. I don't know why they would put a snap knife in this piece of garbage, but they do. It actually snaps in some ways way better than a mini validation knife. So this one is 3 ounces. This material is a little bit on the better side. It's like steel right here. That one had some G10 handles. The benchmade specifically. Not all of them. And yeah, this garbage here would eventually go away. This is like a $29 knife here. Pity the fool who uses this for special operations. Smith & Wesson special op. This is definitely not a military knife. No military person in their sane mind will ever use this in boot camp. Why is that? Pretty much because although it seems like it is designed to look like a badass knife, it's not. It's just the lock is cheap, and that's all you need to know. If it has a cheap lock, you cannot rely upon a knife like this, and that makes it just a dangerous, cheap knife. Smith & Wesson, great guns, terrible knives, unfortunately. 3 ounces of this trash. Now, the garble one, have both garbles right here. Paraglide, which is the cool one, really cheap one. This is, talking about cheap here, this one is okay, but this one, it's even more cheaper. Between both of those, And why am I reaching out here? Because this one is actually a worst version of the same thing. But this one going for about 20 bucks. This is a little bit cheaper than that one. Between both of those, they're both bad. This one has a better lock that could be relied upon more than this one. They're both garbage, but when it comes to cheap garbage, which you should never ever rely on in EDC situation, it's always good to have some kind of a knife versus none, and this one is about 1 inch. Not 1 inch, what I'm saying, 1 ounce. And both of them, yeah, what about this one? This one is 2 because it's more metal to it. And okay, almost 6 inches. The blade in itself about 2.5 inches. This one, the blade is about 2 inches, and this one is 5 inches long. When it comes to the battle of the cheapest knives, both of those are battling it out in terms of cheapness. And this still has a little bit slightly better because it garble Bear Grylls. I don't know why he would even sponsor a knife like this, but let me put it this way: if you need something, any knife is better than nothing in a survival situation. And throwing it in your toolkit, in your vehicle, or somewhere, just in case you need to cut something, to probably lose a seat belt or anything. I don't know if this will actually even do it, but if you need a knife in an emergency situation, don't ever get this. Just don't. This is probably the biggest garbage of all of them combined. And Garbo is known for it. Unfortunately, it's been known to make bad knives. It's been known to make very good knives too. I really wish this company would figure out that making cheap knives is just not the way to go and get more people to buy your stuff. But yeah, the company that is right now the king of cheapness, and I mean the king of making cheap knives, I still think it's Smith & Wesson. I really do. If you guys disagree with me, let me know which is the company that makes the best cheap knives that are, and it's not for cheap knives. I actually think it's Smith & Wesson. They look kind of cool. It's like those people who get knives, get into knives, they will get the Smith & Wesson because they had the guns, and they're like, oh, they make guns, they make firearms, probably make cool knives. No, they don't. They don't make cool knives. They just make knives. Just knives. That's it. Dangerous knives too. Garbage. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this channel, you should get some quality knife, because good knives are important in a survival everyday carry situation. Specifically if you go hiking in the woods, you get lost somewhere in the middle of nowhere and you need something to get some food, to cut things up, cut your rope. You need something good. This one is probably the one, my favorite, stylish, cool looking. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something new today, and if you did, smash the thumbs up button. Post down what you think of this video, and if you want to see more videos of knife reviews, and see you in the next episode of the Geek Tech channel. Well, you never know what is the next thing that's going to be featured on this channel.